It started on a lonely stretch of asphalt, somewhere between yesterday's peace and tomorrow's storm. A 90-year-old woman named Margaret Maggie Hayes gripped the steering wheel of her dusty blue pickup, her knuckles pale against the leather. In the passenger seat sat Scout, her German shepherd, loyal, watchful, and far more alert than his years suggested. Maggie wasn't just anyone. She was a World War II veteran, one of the few remaining women who had flown medical planes through fire and flak, saving soldiers when most people wouldn't even look at the sky. But now she was just an old woman driving home from town with a bag of groceries and memories heavy as her heart. Scene 2, The Encounter. A sudden roar shattered the silence. Motorcycles, 3 of them, thundered up behind her. Chrome flashed. Engines growled. Scout's ears twitched. The bikers swerved around her truck, shouting, laughing, mocking. One slapped the side of her door with his glove as he passed, leaving a muddy handprint. Another revved up close, startling her into jerking the wheel. Her grocery bag toppled, apples rolling beneath her feet. "See, Mon, Granny. Move it," one of them yelled. Maggie's heart pounded. Her breath came fast. She had faced enemy skies, but somehow this cruel laughter from men young enough to be her grandsons cut deeper. Scene 3, The Roadside Stop. The bikers slowed suddenly, boxing her in. Maggie had no choice but to stop on the gravel shoulder. Her engine idled nervously, headlights trembling on their leather jackets. The leader, a tall man with a scar down his cheek, sauntered toward her window. "Evening, ma'am," he said mockingly. "Didn't he mean to scare you? Just thought we'd say hello." Scout growled low, steady, protective. "Easy, boy," Maggie whispered, her voice firm but kind. "Nice dog," another biker said, circling the truck. "Bet he's friendlier than you." They laughed. Something in that laughter, that arrogant, careless cruelty, stirred something fierce in Maggie. She'd heard men laugh like that before, when they thought someone couldn't fight back. Scene 4, The Push. When one biker kicked the tire of her truck, Scout barked sharply. The scarred man leaned closer. "You got a problem, Grandma?" "No," Maggie said, her voice trembling but steady. "But you will if you don't step back." He smirked. "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do, call the cops?" That's when the sky broke open. Rain came hard, drumming on metal and gravel. Scout barked again, this time louder, sharper, then suddenly jumped through the open window, splashing into the mud. "Scout!" Maggie shouted. But the dog wasn't attacking. He was running fast, straight toward the tree line. Scene 5, The Call. The bikers burst out laughing. "There goes your hero, lady," one sneered. Maggie didn't answer. She sat frozen, raindrops streaking her wrinkled face. For a moment, she thought her dog had run away out of fear. Her heart cracked at the thought. Then, from somewhere in the distance, came the faint but unmistakable sound of sirens. The bikers stopped laughing. "What the?" 2 minutes later, flashing lights cut through the rain. Sheriff's cruisers screeched to a stop, doors flying open. The bikers cursed, scrambling to their bikes too late. Officers shouted commands, weapons drawn. Within moments, the 3 were on the ground, handcuffed in the mud. Scene 6, The Twist. The sheriff, a broad, kind man in his 50s, approached Maggie's truck. "You okay, Miss Hayes?" he asked gently. She blinked in surprise. You know me." He smiled. "Everyone in this county does, ma'am. You're the reason my granddad made it home from Normandy. We never forgot that." Maggie stared, stunned. "How did you?" He pointed behind her. Scout stood proudly, soaked to the bone, tail wagging. "When your dog ran off, he triggered the panic collar GPS alert straight to our dispatch," the sheriff explained. "It's that service model for veterans, right, smart dog?" Maggie looked down at Scout, tears blurring her eyes. "You called for help, you clever boy." Scene 7, Redemption. As the bikers were led away, the sheriff turned to her. "They'll be charged, ma'am. You did nothing wrong." But Maggie wasn't angry anymore. She watched the rain wash the mud from their boots, from her truck, from everything ugly that had just happened. "People do foolish things when they forget kindness," she said softly. "Maybe they'll remember after this." The sheriff nodded. "You're one tough lady, Miss Hayes." Maggie smiled faintly. "I used to be. But tonight, I think my dog was tougher." Scene 8, the morning after. The next morning, the sun rose gold over the wet fields. Maggie sat on her porch with a cup of tea. Scout lay at her feet, his head resting on her slippers. A knock came at the gate. It was one of the bikers, the youngest, maybe 19, holding a bouquet of wildflowers. His arm was in a sling. His eyes were downcast. I came to apologize," he said. "I didn't know who you were. Didn't know what you'd done. I was just being stupid." Maggie studied him for a long moment, then smiled gently. "You don't have to know who someone is to treat them with respect, son. But I accept your apology." He nodded, eyes glistening. Scout wagged his tail. Final scene, voice-over closing narration. That evening, Maggie wrote a letter to an old friend she hadn't spoken to in years. She ended it with these words: "The world still has its storms, some come on motorcycles, some in silence. But as long as kindness stands its ground, there's always a way home." The camera pulls back Maggie and Scout sitting together as the sun dips below the horizon, peace settling over the land like a long, quiet salute. Fade out. Military medal moral message: kindness is not weakness. Courage is not in how loud we fight, but in how calmly we stand when no one stands with us. 7.